Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. And I welcome you all to the day 4 of HTML and CSS Essential session. I hope everybody is here and I hope I'm audible. So, guys, tell me, can you guys hear me, everyone? Can you hear me? Can you see me? And also, can you see my blue window screen? Everyone, please tell me. So, good evening, and I welcome all of you to the day 4 of HTML and CSS Essentials. That's great. I can start seeing your hellos now. Good evening, guys. Good evening. Good evening. Okay. Come on, guys. Everyone, fire up in the charts. I just want to see how excited you are for today's session because today we're going to learn a lot of things. Yes, I was absent today because you had another session, right? We had another session of what you call placement preparation session, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something new there. So that's really cool. Okay, that is great. So before moving on, first of all, I really hope that you guys completed your assignments because it was very easy, right? I really hope that everyone from you found the assignment easy, right? You just had to create a div and 3 p tags inside it, and that's it. Just some background color, and 1p was supposed to be styled with inline CSS, one with internal, one with external, which are almost the same thing. So I really hope that you guys completed it. And I saw a lot of people submitting the assignments, like sharing the GitHub links on community. So guys, if you want that, you can do it. That's totally fine. But don't worry, I'm going to ask you at the end of the whole session to send me a zip file or share the zip file on the community by tagging me. That will be the best way. But right now, if you guys are sharing, that's amazing. I saw a few of them. I didn't see everything because I had a lot of them to see, but I saw around 5 to 6, and I also, I think, replied on it. So that's really great that you guys are completing. So I'm really happy that you guys are actually completing the assignments, and I would like all of you to complete it. So that is really great, guys. No, right now you don't have to submit. So people submitting, that's cool. If you want to, you can upload it on GitHub and share the link on community, tag me. That is totally fine. But right now you don't have to submit. Right now you simply have to create it. Okay. Is my voice on low level? Can you hear me now? Yes. If you submitted using Google Form, that's also fine. If you submitted it in your attendance forms, that's also fine. That means our moderators are checking it. Okay, so don't worry, guys. If that is the option, you can always submit it in the attendance form. That is really great. Sir, why can't we embed whole YT? Because that is something YT don't allows. Like that is something that YT doesn't allow. See, think of it like this. If you're the YouTube owner, will you allow your whole website to be embedded in some other website? Then people will stop coming to your website. Then people will directly go on that website and see YT there. So that's a wrong thing, right? It's like you're screening YT somewhere else. It's like you're streaming live YouTube somewhere else. It will like that. So that is one thing, right? People, we don't want to allow our website to be viewed on some other's website. Then people will stop coming on our website, and then everything happen. How will I earn? How will people use my website? How will I get users? All of that. Okay. So that is really great. So without wasting your time, let's start. First of all, I'll explain you what are we going to do today. Okay, so we are going to have do a lot of today, a lot of things today actually. We are going to talk about all about layouting. We are going to talk all about layouting today. So we are going to learn about paddings. We're going to learn about margins. We're going to learn about the box model. We're going to learn about aligning the elements, moving the elements, giving spaces between them, all of that. Okay, so today is like the complete layouting session, and we're going to learn about a lot of properties, and all of those are easy. And if you understand all those properties, CSS will be forever easy for you, because these are the properties that we are going to learn today are the most important CSS properties. Because see, understanding font size is easy, anyone can understand it. Understanding background color, understanding color are easy because you see it. It's like in front of you. Okay, fine, it's background color, it's red, I can see it. That's easy. But aligning elements properly, arranging them properly depending on the screen size, because the screen can be big, the screen can be small, arranging the heights, that is the complicated thing in CSS, and that is what we're going to talk about in the whole lecture. Okay, so I really want all of you guys to focus and try to understand everything. So let's crack the layouting part. Okay, and from tomorrow we are going to start our project. Okay. Sir, if I can't find your name in community, where can I tag you? You will find it. Just simply write S Gupta 8MZ. I'll tell you at the end what is something that you have to write. You'll definitely find me. Okay, because I am on the community, so you'll definitely find me. Okay, guys, so let's start. And don't worry about forms, Akash. Don't worry, because when we start creating the project, in that project, I'm going to include forms. So I'm going to give you the hint of forms. Don't worry. We are going to learn about forms, something about forms. So don't worry about it. Don't worry. In the project, I'm trying to include the form. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's start. Let's start. So here is the VS Code. Okay, that we create and the files that we created last time. So today we'll create again two more files, one HTML and one CSS. And in that file, we are going to learn all about layouting. Okay, so let's start. So yep, save it. And now let's create few more files. So I'm going to create one file named layout.html. So this will be my HTML file. I really hope that you guys can see my screen. You said you'll show us what we are going to build. Don't worry, Sriram. Don't worry. I'm still like, I have planned it, but the thing is, I simply want to show you tomorrow only, right? Like, okay, fine. This is what we're going to do. I want to basically surprise you because I didn't find anything like that on any of the template things, because all the template things are made using like some kind of tools, like something like what do you call the website builders, right? And I don't want that. I want to show you something that can be built from scratch. Okay, that's why I have it with me. Okay. Okay. So guys, okay, Soumya, don't worry, Soumya. At the end, I'll tell you. I'll show you how to search my name on the community. So don't worry, Soumya. Don't worry. Okay, and Sarvana, don't worry. It is something really great. So don't worry about it. It is actually something really great. And from tomorrow, we are going to start with the project. But the today's session is the most important according to me, because today we are going to learn about layouting. And all of these concepts that we are learning today, we are going to use them in the next 2 days in the project. Okay, guys, so please focus. Let's start learning. Okay, so I have created one file, layout.html, and I'm creating one more file that will be my CSS file. So basically I'm using external CSS. Okay, so let's name it layout.css. And again, it's not important to name them same. I name them same so that for me it's easier to find in the list of files. Okay, fine, this is layout.css, this is layout.html, fine, I can connect to them, I can directly see and find it out them. Okay, that's why I name them same, but it doesn't work like that. If you want, you can name them different things. Okay, now then, let's start with the HTML. So HTML, and then at the top I also want the doc type HTML. Okay, it's not coming. Let's write it by ourselves. So doc type HTML, and inside HTML we need a head. Oh, sorry. We need a head, and inside that we need a title. So let's give a title as layouting, and after head I need a body. And just to confirm if the page is working, let's simply write hello people. And also let's link the CSS page so we know how to do it, right? Link tag relation should be now what? Style sheet, not icon, style sheet. And then you simply have to go href and your page's name, that is in this case layout.css, and that's it. Vidmate app also helped have YT, how that was working. They don't have YT, they don't have like copied YT, they have just made their own version, I think. Vidmate, or there was something else in, like when I used something like that, there was also something else. I don't think they directly show you the exact YouTube. Maybe they use YouTube API to get all the video data, and they have created their own version of the YouTube. Okay, so basically they are dependent on YouTube. They're using their data. They're not showing the exact website there. Okay, they are basically what they're doing is using YouTube API, getting all the YouTube data and displaying it. Okay, that's what they are doing. I think according to me, that is what is happening there. Okay, guys, so let's see if our HTML page is ready, and see, I have also linked it. Now save it. Okay, so copy the path, go in your browser, in your favorite browser actually, and paste it, and here we go. Cool, you can see hello people here. Now, before moving on, okay, so the first thing that we are going to learn in layouting is something called as the box model. Okay, the box model. So last time we learned how to create a div, how to give it a height and width and a background color. Okay. Now today we're going to learn something else as well about the exact positioning of the element, about how the elements are positioned, about how the elements actually work. Okay. So let's try to understand them. So let's create a div for that. First of all, let's create a div for that and let's give it a class of one. You can give any class you want. I'm just simply giving one. And then let's go here and let's write dot one. I hope you guys remember this. Dot one. Hey man, are you taking applications for moderators? I don't understand your question, buddy. Taking application for moderators, that means like your application for our moderators, or what exactly you're asking? And do you have a course on GraphQL? Yes, we have it. We also have it on JavaScript. Yes, we have both GraphQL and JavaScript. So let's give it a height 300 pixel, guys, and let's also give it a width of 300 pixel. Okay. And let's also give it a background color so that we can see it at least. So let's give it red because it's our not the favorite, but at least we like it on the web page. So let's save it and see. And here we go. I have zoomed the web page. This is the actual size. Okay, so this is the actual size, and we can see. Okay, and yeah, here everyone asking about the advanced courses. See, our sir is putting all the links in between, and he's also giving answers about the advanced things about like GraphQL and everything. So please focus on the chats also. You're gonna get all the answers and also the attendance link. Okay, guys. Which is better to use, class or ID? Class. For CSS, class. And for JavaScript, I think it's ID. Okay, you'll understand when you learn JavaScript why ID is very like really good there. But yes, for CSS, class, never use IDs. I never use it. Okay, and if you use it, you'll get in situations where you don't want to be. So you'll understand that we should never use IDs, because I learned that way. I learned the hard way. I was using IDs when I started. So basically there was no one to tell me that you should not use IDs. So I started using IDs. And after a lot of time, I faced a lot of difficulties while doing CSS. And then I understood that we should not use IDs. We should use classes. Okay, now let's move on. Yes, I'm going to tell you what is padding, what is margin. Don't worry. Now see, guys, I have one element, height 300, width 300, and also background color red. Now, before moving on to the actual layouting part, like movement and everything, I'm going to tell you about how an element, like how the size of the element is decided on the web page. How, like in what forms, what are the things that contribute in the size of the element, plus what makes your element moves, right? What makes your element move, and also how the size of an element is defined on the web page according to the browser. So let's see. And to see that, what we have to do is you simply go on the element, right click, and inspect. Now when you inspect, for people like who don't know, when you inspect, you open what? You open something called as developer tools. Okay, let's put it to the right. So here you go. You can simply say doc to right. Now see, guys, this is the place which you call the developer tools. That means these are all the tools the developer can use to understand everything about their web page. Right now, we are only interested in this element section. Right now, don't go on console, because that is something when we work with JavaScript. Right now, we are not working with JavaScript. So simply go to elements. Okay. Now inside the element, see, the top section is your HTML section. Okay. And the bottom section is your CSS section that you have written. Now, if you go below in the CSS, first of all, see, I have selected the first element. If you select body, then body is selected. If you select head, head is selected. I have selected the element number one. Okay. I have selected the element number one, that is the div. Now, if you go down, you can see a model there. You can see the model. And this is what you call the box model. This is what you call the box model of an element. Now, if you see there, you have like 4 layers. There is also a 5th layer that is right, like right there. It's not like, it's not here. You'll understand why in future. Don't worry. But right now, see, you have 4 things here. So the blue area, I'll tell you one by one everything. The blue area is what is the actual height and width, is the original height and width. Please try to understand. It is the original height and width of the element. Basically, you can say this is the content area. So whatever content you put in future in this red div. So if you put any text, if you put any data inside this red div, basically all the content will only come inside this 300 by 300 area. It will never go beyond it. Please always remember this, because this is the original size. The height and width are the original size of the element. Okay, but whatever you see, it's always not like that. Sometimes Padding is also something that contributes in the size of the element. Now, what is padding? So padding is nothing but it's a pseudo size. It's a fake size. It's a fake size. Remember, guys, padding is nothing but a fake size. A lot of people also understand it like it's a space between the border and the element. Don't think it like that. It's like it seems like that, but it's not like that. Padding is simply fake size. That's all. Right? I'm gonna show you. Now, do one thing. Let's do one thing. See, please, guys, focus. The next 10 minutes are very important again. So let's go. So now, if you want to perform padding operations, there is a property named padding. Simply give padding and give any value, any size that you want. So let's say I give 50 pixels. That means I'm giving a padding of 15 pixel to the element. Let's see what is happening. Now see, the element size is increased. Okay, but the actual height and width are still 300, but I have given a padding of 50. But you can't see it, right? You can't understand it. If I see it, I will feel like, okay, this is the whole element, because I can't differentiate between the size and the padding. But to understand that, let's go down here. Please, guys, focus. Now see, the area that is highlighted right now is the actual size. That means I told you, right? Whatever content you put in will always come inside the actual size. That means if I put any content, it will start from here because this is the actual size. It will start in the in the highlighted area. But a normal people will think that, okay, fine, yeah, content is in the middle because there is a gap. But why is that gap coming? Because of this extra size. See, if I go on padding, this 50 pixel area all around is highlighted. That is the fake size. You cannot put a content in the fake size. You cannot put content in the fake size. So no content will come there. It is just a contribution of extra height and width. That's all. You cannot put content in that size. Content will always be in this highlighted area. If I want to show you, see, if you go there and let's simply put up a hello. Let's try to understand it now. See, guys, everyone, please focus. See, hello is directly starting from here. See here. Now, a normal mind will think that, okay, fine. This is the whole height and width of the element, and there is a gap between the top border and the text, and the left border and the text. But it's not like that. Actually, the content is at the correct place. It's inside the element. Can you see? No, you cannot change the color of the padding area. No, you can't. But there is something else that you can use in future. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you. So, guys, see everyone. I hope you can see it, right? Hello is inside the content area. That is the actual size of the element. Padding is just an extra size that is coming, but a normal mind can't understand it. But if you see it, here you go. If you know CSS, you can understand it. Is that clear, everyone? Yes, I'm going to provide day 2 and day 4 materials, everything today. So don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Okay, guys. I hope you have understood padding, everyone. Have we understood padding? Please tell me. Internet Cherry, please don't spam the chat, buddy. Please don't spam the chat. Please let everyone answer. Internet Cherry, please don't spam. I hope you'll listen to me. Please don't spam the chat. Okay, everyone. Have we understood padding? Vicky Yadav, there is no deadline right now. I'm going to give you the deadline. So I'm going to tell you when's the deadline. Right now, whatever projects I give, just keep doing it. That's it. At the end, I'll ask about when to submit it. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it right now. Okay. What is the use of padding? You'll understand in some time when we start creating something. So don't worry. You'll understand it. But basically, it is used for gapping things. But you'll understand it in a more better way. Okay. So padding is nothing but an extra size. Nikhil, what is your doubt, buddy? Nikhil, what is your doubt? Please ask. Okay, so simply think of it like it's just an addition on the element. So this was the element, and there is a size increase, but actually it's not a size increase. It's basically something that is added to it. It's the same color, so you feel like the size has increased, but no, that 50 pixel is the padding. If I highlight, so you can see it, you have 50 pixel extra all around the element. That is what we call as padding. Okay, is that clear, everyone? Yes, padding will definitely affect because it is sizing. Sizing will definitely affect other elements. Yes, why not? Ajay, Sharath, what is the doubt, buddy? I have told you guys, if I ask you, instead of saying no, directly tell what is your doubt, because sometimes there is a small confusion that you want to solve. So instead of saying no, tell directly what is your doubt. Okay? Ajay, please don't spam no in the chat, buddy. Okay, guys, so I hope you have understood this. See, normally, this is your element, right? Without padding, this is your normal element. Height 300, width 300. Okay, but if I activate padding, see, 50 pixel is added all around. That's it. That's the only thing. That's it. Done. If I don't have padding, this is my normal element. If I have padding, basically 50 pixel is added at the top, 50 pixel is at the right, at the bottom, at the left. Everywhere 50 pixel is added. Are we clear? But the hello moved down. See, that's what I'm telling you, right? Please, guys who are joining late, please try to understand. Please, everyone. See, I told you that the content, whatever you put as a child content, it will always be in the original size. Please see when I'm highlighting it here. Can you guys see the highlight? Can you guys see the highlight there? That's the original size, 300 by 300. That's the actual space. The other 50% that you're seeing on the top, on the right, and the bottom, and the left is the padding. And there is no content in the padding area. Content will always be in the actual original area. That's what I told you. This is the original size that I gave, 300 by 300. And this is the padding that I gave. Okay. Yes, you can also use p tag. Why not? So guys, are we cleared, everyone? Amal, what is your doubt, buddy? What is your doubt? Tell me that, Amal. Okay. So that's cool. Control slash dx, you have to use control slash. Okay, now guys, let's move ahead and let's see the next sizing property, the next box sizing property, that is border. Now see, it's exactly like padding. It is going to be exactly like padding, but it comes on top of the padding. That's it. Now guys, please focus. Let's also give the padding here. You cannot give different color to the padding, but you can give different color to the border. So now guys, please focus. Everyone, please focus now. Okay. So now, just like padding, you have one more sizing property, that is this border. Right now, we don't have any border applied. So please focus. And border is applied on top of padding. This is the same sequence in which they go. Okay. This is the same sequence in which they go. So please focus, guys. Okay. Now, let's try to apply border. So again, border, and then you simply give the size, whatever you want. So I want the border to be 20 pixel. Okay. And then you also have to give the border type. Like when you give borders, you have types, like you want solid border, you want ridge border. So right now, just to understand, let's give a solid border. That means normal border. And also third parameter is what is the color of the border that you want. So unlike padding, you can't give any color to the padding, but you can give a color to the border. So simply go and tell, okay, fine, I want a black colored border. So border, I want a 20 pixel border. That means 20 pixel in width. It should be a solid border. That means a normal plain border. And also I want the color of the border to be black. So border 20 pixel solid black. Save it. And can you guys see it now? It's just the addition of size. That's all. So you have the content area, you have the padding area, and you have the border area. But it's just border area's color is different. That's all. See here. If I now go here, see, I have 300 by 300 element, normal element. Then you have the padding, the extra size, which is this, which is like having the same color as the element. Ajay, Sharat, exactly what is the doubt? What is the confusion? Tell me that, Ajay. You tell me what is padding, Ajay. Come on, tell me, Ajay. You tell me what is padding. What did you understand till now? You tell me what is padding. Come on, Ajay. What have you understood? What is your understanding of padding? Then I can understand what is your confusion. I want to understand your confusion, right? That's what I'm trying to understand here, Ajay. So you tell me what exactly is your confusion. Why it is used, guys? Please, that's what I'm saying. Right now we are learning. First see it, then I'll show the use of it. If we start seeing the use right now, then we will not have like all the time to learn everything else. So first of all, let's learn everything. Let's try to understand how they work, and then we'll see what is the use. So don't try to confuse, right? Use will come afterwards. First of all, let's try to understand how they work. First, understand what are the properties that you use. First, understand how the properties work and what they do, and then you'll see the use. So if you're not understanding the use, don't worry. You'll see it. Can we add without padding? Yes. Why not remove the padding? That's it. It is without the padding. Okay. Exactly, Rahul. It's an extra size around the element. That's all. That is all. It's an extra size around the element, Ajay. Buddy, I hope you're understanding. Or otherwise, tell me your confusion. What is exactly your confusion? And please, if you're just like spamming the chat, please don't do it, Ajay. That's not a good thing. Okay. It's border overlaid on padding or added. It's on top of the padding. It's on top of the padding. See now, you can see the highlight. See, everyone, guys, can you see the highlight here? Can you see the highlight when I move onto the elements? Can you guys see the highlights? Everyone, please tell me that. See, this is the element size, the actual size in which the content will go. Then you have padding. Can you see the highlights? Everyone, padding. Then you have the border at the top. So have we cleared, everyone? That's it. Now, can anyone tell me what is the current height? That is your question, guys. That is a quiz question. Can anyone tell me what is the complete height of the element? Not the original height, the complete height of the element right now. Anyone? Come on, guys. 30 seconds. Go on. Complete height of the element. Guys, what is the complete height? Come on. What is the complete height of the element? 370. Let me also calculate it first. Nope. Nope. You're wrong. Don't worry. If you're wrong, don't worry. Just try to understand why I'm saying you're wrong. Come on. Everyone is saying 370. Okay. See, guys, you're adding only the top layer. What about the bottom layer? See, this is 300. That means height is 300. 50 on the top, 20 on the top, but 50 on the bottom and 20 on the bottom. Where will that go? Exactly. It will be 350, 400, 440. 440 is the height. 20 plus 50, 70 plus 300, 370 plus 50. What is it? 420 plus 20. It's 440. Complete height. 440. Okay. So you're only calculating the top part. What about the bottom part? It's added on the both sides, right, everyone? So I hope you guys have understood now. Okay, it's 440. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Everyone does that. That's totally okay. Okay. So I hope you have understood it now. So this was like, this question is only for this trick so that you understand it's adding on the both sides. And only for also for the complete width, right now it's 440. Okay, because 20 and 50 are in the left and 20 and 50 are in the right also. Okay, that's cool. Now let's move ahead and let's see the last layer in the boxing model. That is the most complicated of all the four of them. But please focus, everyone. Please focus now. Okay. Okay. Now, what is margin and what is special about it? Margin is just like padding. Margin is just like padding. The only catch is it is invisible. The only catch about margin is it is invisible. That means it is also an extra size, but it is invisible, guys. Please focus. It is also an extra size, but it is invisible. Okay, now I'll show you what is happening. So see now, if I go and say, okay, fine, I want a margin of 50 pixel. That means a 50 pixel space, a 50 pixel of extra size will be added on all the sides. But you'll be unable to see it because it's invisible. So now see what it feels like when you see it. Save it. Let's go. Refresh. See, it felt like movement. I hope you understood, right? It felt like movement. But if you go on, see here, it's 50 on the top, 50 on the left, 50 on the bottom. Don't worry about the right now, but think of it like 50 on the right as well. Okay, don't worry. Why it's going towards the end, I'll tell you in some time. Don't worry. But can you see 50 on the top, 50 on the left, 50 on the bottom? The only catch is it is invisible. It is invisible. That's why you feel like the element is moving, but the element is not moving. 50 pixel extra size is added on the top and the left, on the bottom, on the right, but it's just invisible. That's why we feel like the element is moving. We just get the effect of moving the element. We are not actually moving the element. So margins are also extra size. Because why I'm like specifying this, like why I'm like putting all my force on this, because a lot of people in the world still think that margin is for movement. But no, it gives you the effect of movement, but it's not actually a movement. Margin is the extra size, but it's invisible. Is that clear, everyone? So I hope it is clear. Yes, we can use, but it's not movement. Remember this, it is not a movement. Okay. So I hope it is cleared, everyone. I really hope it is cleared. It's like an invisible wall. Exactly, Shai. It's like an invisible wall. That's it. That's it. Okay. But actually, when I started, I also think of like I've worked for 2 years, but and I also always knew that okay, margin is like a movement, but no, margin is not a movement. When you research, you'll understand it's not a movement. Okay. Sir, if I use inspect element to apply margin for placing it correctly, is it good? Yes, yes, why not? But then don't forget to copy it again in your code, right? So go on inspect element, do everything, see what is happening, and copy the whole code and paste it in your real code. Otherwise, after refresh, it will go away. Okay. So I really hope you guys have understood margin, right? It is an extra size, but invisible. That's it. What is this white space on the left of the selection? Yes, now I'll tell you that because now you know margin. So now I'll tell you that. Now let's remove the margin for a second. Let's remove the margin for a second. And now, can you guys see there was already a by default space on the top, on the left, and it is also at the bottom and the right, but you can't see it because you have a lot of space. But you can see it on the top and the left. Can you guys see everyone? Can you guys see it? No, you cannot add color. It is not visible. Dulnet, it is not even visible. You can't make it visible. So what is the point of giving it color? It's invisible, always invisible. Okay. Now, see guys, please focus. Now you have seen the extra space on the top and on the left. But if you go on websites like Flipkart, Amazon, they don't have it. They don't have it. So what is this space and why are we having it in our website? So let's find it out. Let's research about it. Now, let's go on the body, guys. Please focus. Let's go on the body. And let's go to the box model of the body now. So first of all, I've selected the body. And now let's go down. And can you guys see something fishy here? Can you guys see something fishy? What margin is having? Sorry, what body is having? It's having a margin of 8 pixel. And that's why we are having that space. It's the default margin of the body, not the browser, the body. It's having a margin of 8 pixel from all around. Now, if I want a website to be end to end, I have to do something. So I'll go and I'll forcefully tell body. So now I'll write, okay, body, I don't want you to have a margin. So simply make your margin 0. I don't care. I don't want that space. So simply make your margin 0. Save it. And here we go. So now that's gone. So that was a margin that body was having. And now we have removed it. So will the margin's height also be counted? Yes, why not? If you think about the complete sizing of the element, they are also counted. If you only talk about the original size, then only the height and width. But if you talk about the complete size, it doesn't matter if it is fake or if it is original, then you have to count margins as well. Yep, why not? So guys, are we cleared, everyone? Are we cleared? Now, I want to tell you one more very important thing. It's a very important CSS thing that now you guys saw, right? That there was some element that was having a default margin. Now there will be, can we give height and width to border? Why do you have to give? Because you give sizing to the border, right? So why do you have to give height and width? This is what you're using to give height and width, right? Right? Who was asking that? Shravani, we are using this, right? Border 20 pixels. So this 20 pixel is giving the height and width to the border. So why you need something else to give height and width to the border? Right, Shravani? Okay. Now, guys, a very important thing. Now you guys saw that body was something that was having a default margin. So in future, you're going to encounter a lot of elements that have a default margin. And you don't want that default margin to be there. So what are you going to do? Are you going to write all the elements and for all of them, you're going to write margin 0? No, that's not a good solution. So there is a selector named star or asterisk. There is a selector named star or asterisk. That means I'm going to select all the elements. When you write asterisk, that means you're working for all the elements. You're applying the CSS on all the elements, on P, on H1, on div, on all the elements that you create in your page. And you're saying, okay, fine. By default, I want all the elements to have margin of 0. That means in future, if I have any element that has margin, I don't care. Make its margin 0. I don't even want the default 0 anywhere. If we want only a single place to have padding, what to do? Padding top. I'm going to teach you that. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to teach you that. Don't worry. Yes, Swarupa. By default, it's 8. But it's different for different elements. If a lot of elements have margin of like margin by default, it can be different. But don't worry. We made everything 0. Now I'm simply telling it, I don't care. I want the margin of each and every element to be 0 by default. Now, if I give it, that's a different thing. If I give it Afterwards, that is different thing. If I give margin or padding, something like that in afterwards, that's fine. But by default, I don't want any element to have any margin. So margin 0 on asterisk. Okay. I hope you guys are cleared. And this is also called as universal selector. This is also called as universal selector because it is selecting all the elements. Okay. Now, one more thing. There are also few elements that also have padding of some value by default. There are also, you're going to encounter some elements that have a by default padding, and I also don't want that. So what you can simply go and say, okay, fine, I also want by default padding to be 0. That means now no one will have a default margin, no one will have a default padding. Settled up, everyone will have 0 margin, 0 padding, so that they are at their original place and I don't see any movement, nothing. If I want to give, I will give, but by default there should be nothing. And that's what you call a short reset CSS. That means everything should be normal at its own place, no margin, no padding. Don't worry, Venkat, I'm going to explain you that as well. Don't worry, I'll explain you what exactly is box sizing border box. Don't worry. Okay, guys. Why we use margin, you'll understand. Sakshi ID or class? Class. For CSS, class. For JavaScript, ID. Yep. What about box sizing? I'm going to tell you, yeah. Should we remove body now from CSS? No, 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 no. Yeah, now you can remove body. Now you have written asterisk, so that doesn't matter. Now you can remove body. Yeah, totally fine, totally fine. So, guys, are we cleared with this? Everyone, are we cleared with this? Please tell me, everyone. But we already given one class padding 50 pixel. Yeah, that is something that I'm applying. That is something that I want. This is for the things that I don't want. Like, I don't want anyone to have a default. When I tell you to have it, have it. But by default, you should not have it. That's why I've written this on the top. That by default, no one will have margin and padding. Now, if I want to give, I can give it in future to any element. Okay. Yes, Shrushti, you can remove body now. Yes, you can. I have removed it. It will work. Definitely work. See, same. Nothing happened. The element still has padding. So that's fine. Okay, this element still has padding because we have given padding. If you go to the one element, it still has padding because we have given padding separately to it. That because I want the padding. I want the padding for this. Okay. Body is only for body. Star is for each and every element. H1, P doesn't matter. Okay, guys. So are we cleared with this? And if you give margin, you know what is going to happen. See, normal. Extra size, but it's space. Extra size, but it's invisible. That's what feels like movement. Okay. Yep, here you go with the code. So guys, have we understood? Can we move ahead now? Guys, can we move ahead? Yes, class overrides asterisk. Everything overrides asterisk. Everything overrides asterisk. That's it. Yeah. Yep, layout or HTML is very simple. Nothing, just a simple div of class 1 and hello. That's it. Okay, guys. Yes, it will be applied. See, guys, don't worry. See, what I'm saying is this is only for the default things. Once you give it in again in the other code, it will be applied. This was only for the default things. That means by default, no element will have margin and padding. If I want to give, I can give it. Because see, this is, I'm writing consciously. I know that I'm writing this. Okay, but whatever is coming default, I don't want that. If I write, I want padding. If I write, I want margin. But I don't want it to happen by default. So I've simply removed that thing. Is that clear? Yes, yes, yes. It selects all the tags. Yes, yes. Okay, guys. So now let's move ahead. Okay, now people asking for box sizing border box. Please focus. It's going to be a little complicated to understand. I think it's easy, but please focus what happens when you give box sizing border box. Now see, guys. See, please focus. Now see, in this case, everyone please focus. In this case, this is the actual size of the element, 300 by 300, and the border is 20. Okay, the actual size is 300 and the border is 20. Okay, please focus. Okay, and for some time, let's remove padding so that there is nothing between the border and the element. Now see, guys. Okay, now see. There is the element, no padding, only border. Okay, element, no padding, only border. This is just for your explanation. Okay, now see what happens when you give box sizing border box. By default, it is content box. But when you give box sizing border box, what happens? Now see what happens. Border is included in the actual size. Border is counted under the actual size. Okay. Now see what CSS, what the browser tries to do. Browser will always try to maintain the height and width of the element to be 300 only. But now it knows that you have a border of 20 pixel. So what it will do to maintain 300? It will remove 20 pixel from the height and width so that the size of 300 is maintained. See now what will happen. If I save it, here we go. Now see guys, please focus. What it did. It made my height and width 260 by 260 so that the top 20, left, right, bottom 20 can be added in the 300. Right. So when you give border box sizing border box, that means I'm telling CSS that I want the border to be included in the height and width of the element, in the actual height and width of the element. So to include it, CSS extracts some height and width. That's it. To make, like, to keep the 300 there, it extracts. That's it. For example, if I tell you, think of it like this. If I tell you, I want something to be 5. I want something to be 5. Okay. And I'm giving you 2. And I'm telling you that I will give you 2, but I want that thing to be 5 only. So what do you have to do? You have to remove maybe the previous 2 and you have to add the new 2 so that it is still 5. So you basically you did both the things, right? You added the new 2, but it is still 5 because you removed the old 2. So you have to remove something to add the new value. Okay. But you're still maintaining the 300 because you have given in the code. That's what box sizing border box does. You never use it normally, but it's important sometimes. Depends on the situation. Okay. Yes, 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 Muskan, we can use percentage instead of pixel. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you when to use pixel, when to use percentage. First of all, let's try to understand. Okay. So basically, when you give box sizing border box, I'm simply telling I want the border to be included inside the 300 pixel without increasing the height or width above 300. So what do you have to do? You have to remove something from the height and width so that you can include the border. And that's why we don't normally use it. We use it only for some purpose. If you have it, if you have some purpose behind it, if you want to use it, then only. Otherwise, keep it normal. Height and width to 300 and border is added separately. So now 300 is height and width and 20 is separate border. Okay, guys? Are we cleared, everyone? Think of it like this, guys. Think of it like this. Think for just for explanation again, think of it like this. I give you, let's just simple example. I give you 5 apples. Okay. Now you have 5 apples. Now I give you 2 more apples. And I tell you that, okay, fine. I want you to add these 2 apples in that collection of 5, but at the end you should at the end you should again end up with 5 apples. So what do you have to do? You take my 2 apples, you remove your 2 and keep that 2 so that it's the collection is still 5. That's what box sizing border box is. That's it. Simple. You removed something to add the new thing and still keep it 5. Okay. That's what box sizing border box is. I want to add the border. I have to add the border to the actual height and width of the element, but I still want to keep the height and width 300. But the border is of 40 pixel, 20 at the top, 20 at the bottom. So I removed 40 pixel height so that the 40 pixel border can be added and the actual height is still 300. Okay. So I made the height of the element 260 so that the 40 pixel border can be added and the calculation still ends up 300. Okay. That's what I did. That's what CSS is doing. But you don't have to use it like a lot of times, but don't worry about it. Okay, but I hope it is understand. I hope you guys understand. It's critical to understand border sizing. Please explain once again. Mohammed Ashik, have you understood now? Rajan, what is your question, buddy? I didn't see it. Can you write it again? Rajan, can you write it again? I'm seeing it now. Can you write it again? I think, Brijesh, you have selected body. Select the element. I think you have selected the body here. Select the element. Then you will see. Select the element. Okay, everyone, have you guys understood now? Now let me do one more thing. Let me remove everything now. Let me remove the margin as well. Now please focus. I'm explaining it one more time. Real-time scenario, you'll understand when we create the project, when to use this box sizing border box. Don't worry about it. Okay, now see, real-time scenario. Guys, now see, can you guys see here that I have an element size of 300 and the border of 20. I have the element size of 300 and the border of 20. Now you guys tell me, what is the complete height of this element? What is the complete height of this element? Come on, guys. What is the complete height of this element? Everyone, come on, be fast. What is the complete height of the element? I have removed the padding, I have removed the margin. What is the complete height of the element? Guys, 340, correct. 340. Simple. Border is separate, height is separate. Simple. Don't think about width because it's the same thing. Border is separate, width is separate. But let's only take the example of height, one parallel, so that we can understand. Okay. It's not 300, guys, it's 340 right now. It's 340. Right? Height is separate, border is separate. Now, when you give box sizing border box, you're telling the element that I want to maintain the actual size. That means, okay, I want the height to be 300 only. I want the complete height to end up at 300, but I still want the 20 pixel or the 40 pixel border, 20 from the top, 20 from the border. So now I'm telling, if I give box sizing border box, I'm telling the CSS that, okay, I want the complete height to be 300, but I also want you to include the 40 pixel border. So now what will you do? Because you know that your actual height is already 300, but I have to add 40, but I still have to keep it 300. So you remove the 40 pixel height from the 300 and you add the 40 pixel border, so that you still have the border and you still end up at 300. See now, save it. Now see, I have given height of 300, but internally the height of 300 has been compromised. It is reduced to 260 so that the 240 pixel border from the top and the bottom can be added and the sizing still goes to 300. That is what box sizing border box means. Box sizing border box means I want you to add the border in the actual height. That's it. Okay. I really hope now you guys are cleared. I really hope that you guys are cleared now. Okay. But you're not going to every time use it. You're not going to need it every time, but that's it. People ask, you guys were asking. I told you now what is it. Okay. So by default, it is content box. I give border box. If you don't give content box, it is still by default. So remove it. That's fine. It still works. Okay. So I really hope we are cleared now. That's cool now. So I really hope you understood the box model. So this was the box model, all the properties, actual height and width. Remember, content will always be inside actual height and width. It will never go in padding. It will never go in border. It will never go in margin. All of them have different purposes. But I really hope that you guys have understood the box model, because this one was the most important layouting feature that we wanted to learn in CSS. Okay. So I really hope that you have understood. That's great. That's really great, guys, that you guys have understood. Akash, what is your question? Sorry, Akash, what is your question? Buddy, tell me again. I didn't see it. What is content box? Normal one. That means I want the height and the border separate. That is the normal one, the default one. Okay, now let's move ahead. Okay, now let's talk about layouting. Now let's talk about layouting. But before that, I want to teach you one more thing. Okay, now when I gave margin, now let's remove border. Now you have understood enough about it. Okay, now let's go give margin. Okay, normal element, normal element. Okay, normal element. Now guys, see, please focus. Now when you give margin, see, when you give margin to the element, see guys, when you go on the margin, you see that, okay, fine, margin is working perfectly at the top, margin is working perfectly at the left, margin is working perfectly at the bottom. But why the hell margin is going completely towards the end? Why the hell the extra size at the right is going completely towards the end? Why it is happening? And because of this, see what will happen. You see, guys, remember, margin is not a space. It's a size, but invisible. So now see what will happen. If I create one more element, give it a class of 2. Okay, guys, please focus. Give it a class of 2. And if I simply go on and write some CSS for 2 as well, like for example, 2. Okay. And if I give it a height of 100 pixels, if I give it a width of 100 pixels, and you also give it a background color of, let's say, blue. Now, guys, see, save it. Now you know there is enough space to add a 100 pixel element. Okay, we know that there is enough space to have a 100 pixel element here. Okay, but see, if I refresh it, the element is down here. The element is down here. Why? Because the first element's right margin is going towards complete end. The first element's right margin is going towards complete end, and you know that margin is a size. So basically that thing is getting considered as a size of the element. So basically there is no space. The element is completely filling the whole page, and that's why the next element is going down. That is what is happening here. That is what is happening here. Okay, guys, are we understanding, everyone? Are we understanding? So by default, even if you see 50 here, but the right margin is going towards the end, and that's what happens with something called as block elements. Divs are block elements. This is the behavior of a block element. Now I'll tell you about more about block elements, don't worry. So basically, there are types of elements. Okay, now you are understanding. Now we are on one more topic, one more very important topic of CSS. So guys, please focus on right now. Don't worry about the project. Right now, focus on the learning. I want you to focus on the learning. We are going to create the project anyway, but right now focus on the learning. Okay, this is very important. Now guys, see, please focus. So basically, there are two types of elements. By default, there are mainly two types of elements. There is something called as inline element. There is something called as block element. Okay. Inline elements are basically some elements that by default go in a line. That means they are by default adjusted in line. They go towards the end of the screen, and when the screen ends, they come down. Inline text, right? Text. It starts from the left, goes towards the right. When it finds the end, comes at the bottom. Again goes towards the end, finds the end, comes to the bottom. Text is an inline element. And you cannot give height and width to the inline element. See, you can't give height and width to text. You don't have any feature for giving height and width to text. That means inline elements cannot have height and width. Height and width will never work for inline elements. Remember this. The next type of element you have is something called as block element. And div is an example of block element. Block elements always have the right margin going towards the complete end. That means they will never allow anyone else to sit in the side of them. The other element has to go down. So block elements can have height and width, but their right margin goes towards complete end. Okay, remember this. And that's why the next element is not allowed. But the feature about block elements is they can have height and width. So inline elements go horizontal direction. They align everything one by one in horizontally perfectly, but you cannot give them height and width. And block elements, you can give them height and width, but you cannot align them horizontally one by one. The other element has to go down. But then, no, image is not an inline element, because see, you can give height and width to the image. Please focus, Durva. You can give height and width. If you can give height and width, it's not an inline element. But then, what is image? Because you're arranging them like inline, but you're also giving them height and width. So basically, they have some features of block. That means you can give height and width, and they also have some features of inline. That means they are arranging horizontally. They're going inline one by one. What is that type of element? So that type of elements are called inline block. It's a hybrid element, inline block element. Is it cleared? Is it cleared, everyone? That type of element is called inline block element. An element that can have both features. It can have height and width, and also it can go horizontal direction in the arrangement section. So that is what you call as an inline block element. So divs, h1s, p's, these are the examples of block elements. Okay, text and span and all of other the input elements, input tags, these are the example of inline elements. Okay, I hope we are cleared with this. I think no, input is inline block because you can also give it height and width. Yes, now we are going to do that, because see, what if I really want this blue div in the side of this red element? What should I do then? What should I do? So you have to convert this element. So I will go to the red element and I'll tell it, I want you to convert to inline. But if I convert it to inline, it will not have height and width. See, I'll tell you how. I'll show you actually. So basically, to change the type of the element, you have a CSS property named display. Display is the property that helps you to give type to the element. So by default, the type of one is block. I'm converting it into what? Inline. Now see what is happening. See, now that element is not having any height and width. Now that element is not considering its height 300, width 300. Because what I told you, What did I tell you, guys? What did I tell you? I told you that inline elements can never have height and width. So basically, if I want it to work like inline, but if I also want it to have height and width, I have to give display inline block. That means I want you to behave like inline plus block. That means you should go horizontal, but also you should have height and width. Now save it and now focus. Now guys, see, let's do one more thing, guys. Come on. No, I'm not removing margin. I want you to understand that. Now see, now can you see the right margin going towards the end? I can't remove margin because I want to show you something. Now guys, can you see the difference? Can you see the difference? Now the right margin is not going towards the end. Now the right margin is not going towards the end. Can we give the margin size? Yes, you can. You're doing it right. When I give margin 50 pixel, this 50 pixel is nothing but the size of the margin. Right? Manoj, I hope you're cleared. This 50 pixel is nothing but the size of the margin. Right, guys? So I hope you're understanding. Okay. Now, but this element is not coming at the top here because it also has its own right margin that is going towards the end because it is also a block element. So let's also go there and tell it, okay, you're also not a block element anymore. I'm converting you into a inline block element. And that's it. Now both are inline blocks, so both have to go proper. And that's it. Perfect. Don't worry. The first element is having a margin. So don't worry. The first one is having margin. Okay. So don't worry about it. So guys, are we, sir, what if give margin 0 pixel, then what happens to the block elements? If you give star margin, it is applied to all the elements. But if you give separately, see, right margin is a feature of block elements. So the left, the top, the bottom will become 0. But right margin is a feature. It always goes to end. Even if you don't give it, it still goes to end. That's the feature of block element that is never overridden until unless you override it by writing this. Is it clear, Arjun? Sorry, not Arjun. Vaikunt, is it cleared? The right margin is a very important feature of the block element. Okay, that's why it is never removed. We have to remove it by writing this. Okay. When we have to write something heading, then also we can use margin now without when we have to write something heading, write something like you're talking about right or right, move right. What are you talking about? Okay. Cool. I'm getting the blank page even after typing your same code. I think you have not saved it. Have you linked it? Save it and go on the browser. Save it and go on the browser. Save it and refresh the page. Save both the files. Confirm that you have linked both the files properly. See the names and then do it. I think it will work then. Because that might be only issue. The problem, Muskan. Okay. Image is the inline block element, Dilpreet. Because you can give height and width to it and you can also arrange it, right? Okay, guys. So can we move ahead now? Have you guys understood this? Everyone, have we understood this? Please tell me. Can we move ahead now? It's saved and linked. Then Muskan, I think I have to see then your code. I can't tell it right now then like why it is not working, but it should work. It should work. And everyone asking about float. See, float is a deprecated property. Float is a deprecated property. And yes, Jayesh, if your div is displaying below the first div, that's what also happened with me, right? That's what was happening with me till now. You also have to give display inline block to the second element as well, the second div as well. Yes, Jayesh, you also have to give it to the second one as well. It has showing first CSS, not the second blue box. Save it. Save both the files. Guys, please remember, you have to save both the files. You can't only save one file. Most of the times, the problem is saving. Most of the times, if you don't see the output, the problem is saving. Always save your files. Jayesh, please also give it display inline block, buddy. Please do it. Okay. Okay, guys, can we move ahead now, everyone? Guys, can we move ahead because we want to learn about layouting as well? So now you have understood the basics of margin, padding, and everything, right? Before and after selector, Venkata, wait, buddy, wait. First of all, let's complete all the basics. Then if we get time, I'll definitely tell you the before and after. Don't worry about it. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, guys, so can we move ahead now, everyone? Can we move ahead and learn the next amazing things? So now I really hope that you guys have understood this, right? Okay. Both are same, Arjun. Both are same. There is no difference between .html and .htm. It's just like I give you two names. There's no difference. I've given you two names. One your family calls it, and but both work for you, right? So whoever prepared these extensions, it's same. .html, .htm. That's it. Exactly same. It's sometimes like when you download a page from the browser, sometimes it comes in .html extension. That's it. But I think both are same. Both are definitely same. There's no difference. Okay. Okay, guys, let's move ahead now. Let's move ahead and let's start learning about the layouting part. But before that, I want to teach you one more very important thing. Now, this is one of the most important thing, guys, and it's one of the most easiest, but one of the most important. Okay. So now, guys, please focus. But I really hope you have guys have understood the perfect, like you have guys have understood the box model perfectly. Okay. I really hope that. Okay. Cool. Now let's move ahead. Remove all of this. Muskan, I hope you're getting the output now. Please save your page. Everyone who is not getting output, please save and refresh. Save it. Save it. And people who are not getting, don't worry. Share the files on the community to me. I'll see it. If you're unable to do it at the end, I can't see your code on the YouTube, guys, right? So please share the files on the community so that I can see what is going on there and I can solve it and tell you in the chat. Okay. Okay, guys, let's move ahead now. Let's move ahead. Yes, it is mandatory to give relation style sheet. Yes, Satya. Yes. Yes. Now, guys, let's move ahead. Okay. Now, please focus, everyone. The next thing is very important. See what I'm going to teach you about now. So let's create a div named parent. Simple. Parent. Doesn't matter. Okay. And let's give some style to the parent. Focus, guys. Please focus. Let's give it a height of 300 pixels. And let's give it a width of 100%. That means complete body. And let's also give it a background color of, let's say, gray. Save it. And here we go. Can you see, guys? Can you see it? 100% width. 100% width. This is what 100% width means. Because body is full and the parent of parent is who? Like the parent of this div is body, right? The parent of this div is body. So if body is complete, if I'm getting 100%, I will be completely as my parent. Is it clear, everyone? So 100%. Now, if you go and create one more div inside it, for example, let's go and say div class ELE. Okay. Now ELE is the child of this parent div. Okay. So simply go and if I say dot ELE, I hope you guys have understood the percentage logic that we learned yesterday, right? In the last session. Sorry, not yesterday, in the last session. So let's give it a height of 200 pixels and let's give it a width of 30%. So 30% related to the parent. Okay. Always. Percentage is always related to the parent. I hope we have understood this. Everyone, please confirm me. Have we understood this in the last session? That percentage is always related to the parent, right? Percentage always is related to my parent. So I don't care if my parent is this big or this big or this big. If you're giving width or height in percentage, I will always be relative to my parent. So if my parent is this much, if you give me 50, I will be this. If you reduce the parent, I will be reduced. That's what percentage is, right? We know this. Cool. Let's also give it a background color of red. Now, very important thing. See, perfect. Working fine, cool, everything is cool. Now, let's move ahead. Okay, let's move ahead. And let's remove the height of the parent. Please, guys, focus. Let's remove the height of the parent. And let's see what is happening. See, guys, it means if your parent doesn't have any height, the height is auto, that is automatic. That means now the height of the parent depends on the child contents, depends on whatever how many childs you have and how much your child is growing. That means now the parent's height depends on the child's size. If you have 10 childs of multiple sizes, that will be my height. If I have one child and if it grows, I will grow. If it doesn't grow, I will not grow. So if you don't give a height to the parent, the height of the parent is auto, and now I will grow according to my child's size. Now see, currently the parent is exactly same as child. Now if I increase the size, height of the parent, like 500 pixels, sorry, the child, the parent size also increases. The parent size also increases. Is that clear, everyone? Are we cleared, everyone? Please tell me, are we clear with this, everyone? This is very important because we're going to need this a lot. So I really hope we are understanding this. And mostly you should never give height to the parent. When you're working with layouting, when you're working with CSS, you should never give height to the parent, because you never know how many childs you're going to have. You never know how many elements you're going to have. They may increase in future, they may decrease in future. The number of childs may increase, the number of childs may decrease. So you never know how many childs you're going to have. So it's always safe to not give any height to the parent, so that even if the child number of childs increase, even if the number of childs decrease, the parent will adjust accordingly. You don't, because if you give a fixed height to the parent, and if a number of childs increase, they will go outside the parent, and then what will you do then? Then you have to again increase the height of the parent. If the number of elements decrease, you have to decrease the height of the parent. So instead, give auto. Don't care about it. Let it increase, let it decrease depending on the child. Are we cleared, everyone? Guys, are we cleared? Everyone, are we cleared with this? Okay. Stuffster, buddy, what your doubt? Stuffster? It's simple. That means, see, if you don't give height to the parent, the height of the parent becomes auto. That means now my height, if I'm the parent, my height will depend on the child's height, the child's size. Okay. So if multiple classes have different height, which height will be chosen? The second one. It will override the first one, the second one. Then it depends on the sequence you write. Then it depends on the sequence. Which class CSS is written first, which class CSS is written second. That's how it works. Stuffster, buddy, it's simple. See, I have not given any height to the parent. That means now the parent's height depends on the child's size. So now if height of the child is 500, the parent's height will also be 500. If I increase the child's height to 700, the parent's height will also become 700. Simple. Okay. Now, guys, one more thing. Now, what if, see, guys, please focus now. This is very important. What if I want an extra size on the top, an extra size on the bottom that looks like a gap? That looks like a gap. What can I do now? And now I'm going to use the thing that I learned. I'm going to use the thing that I learned today. I'm going to go to the parent and tell parent, I want you to have a padding top. Now, this is what you use if you want to give a padding only on the, what do you call, top. If I give padding, it is applied everywhere. If I only want to give it to the top, simply use padding top. So I'm writing padding top of 50 pixel. So a 50 pixel extra size will be added to the parent. I don't care about the parent size. Just a 50 pixel extra size will be added to the parent on the top. Let's see. And here we go. Here we go. Now, if you see it properly, you know that the red element is inside the actual content area, right? We know this, right? See, it is working like this. See, this is the actual parents area, and the red element is inside this, and the padding is here, the extra size. Guys, the extra size. What in case of pixel in this? Doesn't matter. If the parent is not having any height, we increase the child with pixels or percentages, doesn't matter. If we give no height to parent and child height is in percentage, then it will not work. Then you cannot give child a percentage of height. That's normal. Then you cannot give child a percentage height. A percentage height can only be given if your parent is having some height. Okay. That's why we never deal, that's why we never use percentages for heights. That's why we never use percentages for heights. That's why we never use percentages for heights. Okay. Y and K, we should not use margin. Why do we need margin here? Why to move the element? Padding is always simpler to handle than margin. Use margin for movements, not for creating extra gaps. Padding is doing it for you simply. Why to use margin? Why to make it complicated? Okay. And now simply also tell it to have a padding bottom of 50 pixel. And here we go. Now see, this is the actual height and width, and the red element is inside it. We know that the content child or the child content will be always inside the actual height and width. Will be always inside the actual content area, which is this. 50 is extra at the top, at the bottom. Okay, everyone. No, there is no meaning of ELE. ELE is just a class that I've given. Why are you guys getting confused with this? Mohammed says, I think you just joined it, right? ELE is just a class that I've given. That's it, guys. ELE is just a class. Can child height greater than parent height? Why not? Yes. See, guys, people asking about the percentage problem. People asking about if the child height can be greater than parent height, and people asking about how the parent-child relationship works. Please go and watch the day 2 session of this. I have explained it very clearly there about all of this. Okay, guys? Okay, that's great. That is really great. Okay, now let's move ahead. Okay, I hope we have understood this. Now let's move ahead, and let's say now I'm going to create multiple childs. Okay, guys, so please focus. Now I'm going to create multiple childs. Okay, and I'm not going to use 500. I'm going to use 300 as my height. Save it, and here we go. Now the height is 300. Close it. Now, yep, and also the width, I'm going to give it to 20%. Okay, now see, guys. Yes, others, the child height can be greater than parent height. That is something that you guys can experiment, right? I want you guys to experiment as well. That's where you learn the most, when you experiment. Now see, guys, I'm going to create one more div. I'm going to create one more div with the same class name. That's cool. Another element will be created. That's it. Let's see. Here we go. Now, anyone, why the next div is coming down? Anyone, give me the answer. Come on. This is your next question for the quiz. Why the next element is coming down? Can anyone tell me? We have just learned this. I'm expecting a lot of answers. Why the next red element is coming down? We have the two divs with the same class. That means same CSS will be applied to both of them. Now you guys tell me why the next div is coming down. Come on. Anyone? Simple short answer. Come on. Rishikesh has given answer. Shivam. Come on, guys. Exactly. Because this div is a block element, and this is the by default feature of the block element, because their right margins are going towards the end. And now I simply have to go there, and I'm going to tell in this ELE, I want your display to be in what? Inline block. And that's it. Let's see. Here we go. And now they are properly arranged in the sides. Okay. So guys, are we cleared with this? Everyone, are we cleared with this? Simple, right? And now if I create one more, totally fine. That will also be arranged perfectly. See? Here we go. One more. Here we go. One more. Simple. See, all of them are having a class of ELE. So if I give a single ELE here and write the CSS, this CSS gets getting applied to all the four elements, because all four of them are having a class of ELE. Reusability, right? That's what we learned in the last session, right? In the day 2 session, reusability of CSS, giving the same class to all the four elements and applying CSS, and everything is getting applied. That's all. Okay. So now you know how to arrange elements horizontally. Now you know how the products are displayed on Flipkart, how the products are displayed on Amazon, how you arrange things horizontally. This is what you do. Okay, everyone. So I hope it is cleared. But there is one more better way than this to arrange it, because there is one problem here. We are getting a little space. Now that is not harming us. Actually, that is looking good. That little space is looking a little good. But that is something I don't want. But inline block will always give you that space. Inline block will always give you that space. Sir, what if you resize the browser? See, first of all, you know that everything is in percentage. Okay. So if I resize the browser, see, if I resize the browser, the element will resize because the width are in percentage. See, if the parent is going small, the child will also go small because everything is in percentage. That's the best part about percentage, right? Yes, Akhil, it is free of cost, buddy. Yes. See, so if the parent is increasing, please don't spam the chat, buddy. Please don't spam the chat. Akhil, I told you, right? It's free of cost. Okay. Shay Taman, don't worry about the float, buddy. Float is deprecated, but if you want, I'll tell you it tomorrow. Don't worry. Right now, let's focus on the important thing. I don't want to teach float because it's deprecated. Nowadays, like now, you don't have to use it. It's deprecated. It's long gone. Okay, because it was not that great property. Actually, it was gone before Bootstrap. Okay. Now, guys, see, because it is percentage, it is growing and becoming smaller depending on the size of the parent. Okay. Yes, we can do the same with image. Why not? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we can have a rounded rectangle. That is something I'll teach you in some time. Don't worry. Okay, guys. So are we cleared with this, everyone? Are we cleared with this? Please tell me. Are we cleared with this? Guys, are we cleared with this, everyone? Please tell me. Are we cleared with this? Yes, yes, we can increase the space. Yes, why not? Why not? Why not? See, if I want to increase the space between them or around them, now you guys tell me what have we learned? What have we learned to move the elements? What have we learned? Come on, tell me. Difference between Bootstrap and CSS? CSS is the core. CSS is the main thing. Bootstrap is a product made out of CSS. Bootstrap is a framework made in CSS. That means something else is writing CSS for you and you're using it. That's it. Bootstrap is again CSS. Bootstrap is not a new language. CSS is the core for everything. CSS is the core for everything. Okay, guys? Now, please tell me, guys, what have we learned to move the elements? Don't worry, guys, asking about flex boxes. I'm going to teach you that as well. Don't worry. But first, tell me this. What have we learned? We have learned margin, right? And see, right now we don't want to use margin from the top or from the right or from the bottom because we have proper gaps. We only want to move the elements from the left. So we are only going to use something called as margin left. That's it. We are only going to use something called as margin left. That's all. Because see, top gap is already there. That means I don't want the top extra size. Bottom gap is already there. That means I don't want the bottom extra size. Right gap is already there. I don't want the right extra size. I only want the left extra size. So I simply use margin left and I simply go there and I say, okay, fine. Let's say 5%. That means I want all the 4 elements to have an extra invisible size at the left. But it will feel like what? It will feel like, sorry, I pressed Ctrl S. It will feel like spacing. And here we go. See? Now it's an extra size added at the left of each and every element. But it's invisible. That's why I feel like it's an extra space. But the problem is the last element was unable to adjust here. So it came down. And that's the best thing. The last element was unable to adjust here because there was no space for him. It came down and see the parent's height increased. That's what we wanted, right? That's what we wanted. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, are we cleared? Everyone, are we cleared? So you use margin left if you only want to give it from left. You use margin bottom if you only want to give it from bottom. But remember, margin is not a movement. It's what? It's the extra size added towards the left, top, bottom, right. But it's invisible. That's all. Why don't we use padding left, Vignesh? Because padding is an extra visible size. Remember the difference, Vignesh? Sir, also use padding left. No need. Why to use padding left? Buddy, come on. Remember, padding is visible, right? If I use padding, see what will happen. If I use padding, see what will happen. This will happen. They have grown from the left. Padding is visible, right? We want invisible size that looks like a movement. That's why we're using margin. So that's what you have to understand. And now I really hope that you guys are understanding the use. People asking, I think at the start, people are asking, sir, what is the use of padding? What is the use of padding? What is the use of margin? What is the use of margin? Now you know what is the use of margin and what is the use of padding. Okay. Now see, if you want, you can reduce the margin so that if you want this element to be adjusted on the right as well, you can reduce the margin left a little and try. And now see, adjusted perfectly. Now you have 4 elements adjusted perfectly in the horizontal manner, and that's cool. Working perfectly fine. So guys, are we cleared with this? Everyone, are we cleared with this? Please tell me. Okay. Vignesh, see, buddy, if we use in parent, we'll only give the left and right. What about the between spaces? What about the between spaces, buddy? Vignesh, that will be a problem, right? So if margin is solving everything for us, why not to use it, right? Now see, guys, remember, there is no standard way of doing it. You know margin, you know padding. You can use it as you like. It totally depends on you now. How much you practice it, how much you try it, and what way you create for yourself on how to adjust elements. Different people adjust elements differently. So don't think like if someone is using in this way, I also have to follow that way. If it is a good way, you can follow it. If you feel like that's something that I like, you can follow it. But if you feel like no, I like my way better, go for it. No one is stopping you. Same properties, different way. That's it. Not a problem at all. How will we keep one box in the left side and second box on the right side? Now I'm going to tell you that how to use it. Normally we can use float or margin, but if you want to learn that, now we have a better thing for that. And now we're going to learn that. Okay, guys. So now, guys, have we understood the arrangement of elements by using display inline block and margin left? Everyone? The next topic is flexbox. I want to teach you flexbox very badly because from tomorrow I'm going to use it. Actually, I'm going to mix both. I actually mix both. See, guys, remember, Flexbox is not a new CSS. It's just a part of CSS. It's just a property of CSS. So for people thinking that if you use Flexbox, you can't use margins. No, I mix everything. I mix Flexbox, grid, margin, everything, and I make my things. Okay. Tarun, you're asking Tailwind CSS again, but it depends on the situation. A lot of people like Bootstrap for responsiveness, and a lot of people are also using Tailwind CSS. These are some different two frameworks. That's all. Totally up, like it totally depends on you. I like Bootstrap. Again, it's totally on you. If you use both of them, you choose one of them. Fine. You can see like, okay, fine. I find Tailwind easy. I find Tailwind more productive. You can go for Tailwind. So both are same things. Both are frameworks for CSS. Okay, both are giving you, helping you in writing some CSS in a more better way. I personally prefer Bootstrap because I like it. It was the first in the framework section, and I have used it from the start. So I personally like Bootstrap. Okay. What is SCSS? I think it's not SCSS. It should be SASS, right? It's not SCSS. It's SASS. Syntactically awesome style sheets. It's a programmable CSS. That's what you call it. Don't worry. We'll understand that as well. Don't worry, buddy. Bootstrap 4 or 5, everything. Whatever is the newest. Whatever is the newest. I always use that because 90% things remain same. Only few things get added, few things get updated. But the grid system is same. The coloring system is same. The button system is same. 90%, 95% things are actually same. Only few things get updated. So it totally depends on you. Whatever the new Bootstrap is, I started using it. Simple. Whatever is available, I start using it. Okay. Thank you so much, Nikhil, buddy. Thank you so much, buddy. Okay, guys. So can we move ahead now? Can we start learning the next way of doing the same thing, but in a more better way? Can we do it, everyone? Okay. Now then, let's remove the display inline block. Let's remove the margin left and let's make them normal again. See, now this is what they are normally. Arranged vertically because it is what? They are block elements. Now, what is the other way of arranging them horizontally? What is the other way of arranging them horizontally? So now the other way is this. You can go in the parent. Okay. You can go in the parent and then you can give display. And then here you can type flex box. Sorry, not flex box. Sorry. You type flex. Now remember, you give display flex to the parent, but all these features work for childs. Now I'm the parent. I'm telling myself that I have a display of flex. That means all my childs have become a flexible box now. Now, what is the meaning of flexible box? Flexible box means, now see, it's the name. It's the name directly. They are flexible. They can be arranged easily. It's a new feature in CSS. It's a new property in CSS that helps you to arrange your elements in a more better way. But you don't give it to the child. You want to work on the child, but you don't give it to the child. You give it to the parent. And now the childs are arranged in a flexible boxes manner. Now see what is happening. See, guys, please focus. Save it. And here we go. They are arranged horizontally. And one more thing. This is what we did using display inline block. But remember, we gave display inline block to the child. But display flex is always given to the parent. So that, why they have made this to the parent? Because in child, sometime you may have to give display inline block again and again if you have different class names. But if you're giving it to a parent, doesn't matter. If you have 10 childs, 15 childs, 1,000 childs of different names, doesn't matter because you're giving it to the parent. Parent is always one. I can have 10 childs, but parent is always one. So you're giving it only once. But if you have multiple childs, 10 childs, sometimes you may need to write display inline block again and again for each and every child because display inline block is written with the child. So if your childs have different class names, in this case, they were having same class name, ELE. So you wrote it once. But what if they had different class names? What if they had different elements? Then you have to write it again and again. So simply they improved it and they directly told us to use display in parent, don't use it for child, so that even if you have different childs, doesn't matter, they will be arranged horizontally. Okay guys, okay, now see guys, everyone please focus. Now they are arranged just like display inline block, but can you tell me one difference that is going on here? When I gave display inline block to the child, it also arranged everything horizontally. I gave display flex to the parent, it also arranged the child horizontally. What is one difference that you can see here? What is one difference that you can see here from display inline block and display flex? Everyone. Akhil buddy, this is day 3. This is day 3. Day 3 was basically interview session. If you're talking like interview preparation session, if you're talking about the CSS, this is day 3. And day 1 and day 2 are available on YouTube buddy. So simply search for Let's Upgrade and you'll get it directly. Because right now they are trending sessions. These are the sessions that we are conducting. There is Python session, there is HTML session going on. So you'll find both of them directly. Okay. Okay, yes, exactly, guys. Exactly. It is continuous. You don't have any extra spaces. That means now the calculation is perfect. You don't have any extra spaces. That means the calculation is perfect now. Now, you guys tell me. You guys tell me. See, you guys tell me now. Now, my width of one element is 20%. Okay. And I have 4 elements. What is my complete width? What is the complete width of the parent they are covering? Come on, guys. I have one element of width 20% and I have 4 elements. What is the complete width they are covering? Come on, guys. What is the complete width they are covering? Guys, everyone? Yes, Saurabh, we have understood that, buddy. Exactly, it is 80. That means 20% is left. That means 20% is left. And now we can actually calculate how much margin left to give. Now think, I have how many elements? 4 elements. That means I need how many gaps? 1 at the start, 3 in between, 1 at the end. I need 5 gaps and I have 20% gap left. I have 20% gap left and I need 5 gaps. Why I'm telling 5 gaps, you'll understand. Don't worry. So if you divide 20 by 5, how much you get? 4%, right? So if I give margin left 4%, see now, perfect gapping. Now see 5 gaps. 1 at the start, 2, 3, 4, and at the end, 5 gaps. So 20% was left. I divided that 20% gaps into 5 gaps. That means 4% a gap per gap. So simple. Now the calculation for margin left was simple because there was no extra spaces. So I knew that 80% is gone, 20 is left, and I have 4 elements. So if I want a gap at the start, at the end, and 3 in between, I need total 5 gaps. So 20% area is left. I have to convert that into 5 gaps. So simple, 4% per gap. Simple calculation, right? But there is something more better. There is something more better than margin left. If you're using flex boxes, now it's totally fine if you use it. It is totally fine if you use it because even I like to use margin left. But when you're using flex boxes, there is something else that you can use to give spaces instead of margin left. See, you can use this. Again, normal, back to normal. I'm not using margin left, back to normal. Now, you can go in the parent. Okay. Now remember, guys, when you give display flex, when you make elements, when you make your things like work like flexbox works in 2 directions. One is horizontal, that is called as row. One is vertical, that is called as column. Remember, one is horizontal, that is also called as row. One is vertical, that is called as column. When you give display flex, the by default direction of the flex box is row. That's why your elements got arranged horizontally. If you want, you can also change that using this property, flex direction. You can give column and see now what will happen. Now they are arranged vertically. The default one, the normal one, when you didn't give flex. But I don't want this. So if you don't use it, the by default direction is what? Row. That means there are just like this. So when you give display flex, the by default arrangement is row. Now why I'm telling you this? So you have two directions for flex boxes. One is row, which is default. So basically, if you give display flex, they are arranged like a row. One is flex direction column. You can give it if you want. Now, the next important thing. Remember, please, the next 2 minutes are very important now. Please focus, everyone. Now remember, when you give, when your flex direction is row, that means X. Basically, we call the row X, right? So there are two things. One is main axis, one is cross axis. One is main axis, one is cross axis. So when your direction is row, X is your main axis. X is your main axis, Y is your cross axis. Remember. And when you give direction column, Y is your main axis and X is your cross axis. Understand, guys? Are you understanding? If the direction is row, X is main, Y is cross. Okay. And if the direction is column, X is cross and Y is main. Okay, everyone? Perfect, right? Now we know this. Okay. Okay, guys, now let's move ahead and let's see what is the meaning of this. Now, there are two properties that I wanted to teach you. There are two properties. There's a property named justify content. Now, remember, justify content always, always, always works with main axis. That means if the direction is row, justify content will work for the X axis. And if the direction is column, justify content will work for the Y axis, because justify content property always works for the main axis. Now, why I'm forcing on this topic, because this is the most confused thing in flex boxes. People always get confused here that justify content, what? It's for horizontal. No, justify content is not only for horizontal. Justify content is only for main axis. That means if the flex direction is row, justify content will work for X. If the flex direction is column, justify content will work for Y. Now, what is the use? See, justify content, you have something like this. Flex start. That means I want my content to be in the start. Let's see. It's a default. You have the content in the start. Next is flex end. That means I want the content to be in the end, to be in the right side of the X axis, main axis. That is in this case X, because currently the direction is row. Save it. Here we go. Now see, the elements are in this side. Simple. You also have this justify content center. See, justify content right now is working in the horizontal direction because that is the main axis. Here we go. Now it's in the center. I was trying to create a list of 23 elements in a single UL element using grid, only no other element, but that was not responsive. I think I can get help from this live session. Yes, exactly, HF base. You can understand and work with that. Yes. Can you give, see, if you give flex for parent, it's basically applying to the child only, right? So if you're giving flex, there is no need of inline block, because at the end, both are doing same thing, right, Neeraj? So no need of doing it. Flex is given to parent and inline block to child. Yes, exactly. But if you're giving flex to the parent, your childs are automatically adjusting. So no need to give inline block. But yes, if you're talking about that what to give when, then yes, inline block is given to the child and flex is given to the parent. Yes, Dave. Yes, we also teach React JS. We also teach Node.js, everything. Next.js, AngularJS, Vue.js, everything, buddy. Okay, guys. Now, let's see the important ones. Let's see the important ones. Again, normal. Now, guys, see. You also have something like this. Space around. It goes like this. So there will be a space around the element and there will be a space between the elements. So this is the best for spacing. No need of using margin left and everything, right? Spacing. But there's an issue. There's an issue. And the issue is the around spaces are small, but the between spaces are bigger. What if I want every space to be normal, common? Simple. Space evenly. Now the around spaces and between spaces are perfectly fine and arranged. They are of the same size. Okay, everyone? So that's how it works. That's how it works. Okay? You don't give it. Saurabh, if you give it to the child, then it will work for its own child. If you give flex to the child, that means now when the child will have child, then the flex will be applied to them. Normally, that nothing will happen. Okay? Saurabh, are you understanding? So if you give Whenever you give display flex to something, that flexible boxes are applied to the child. So you have to wait for the child to come then. Okay, guys, everyone, are we clear with this? Everyone. So now you don't have to use margin. You can simply use justify content space evenly to give spaces. Are we cleared, guys? Everyone, are we cleared? Come on, guys, tell me, are we cleared with this? I want to teach you a few more things. So please tell me, are we cleared with this, everyone? Okay. Everyone, come on, guys, tell me, give me the answers fast. We are almost at the end of the session. So I want you guys to answer me. Are we clear with this? We're going to learn one more property. We're not learning complete flex box, but we're learning what is important because we know we cannot cover everything in the 7 days, right? Right. So we want to also start the project in the next session. So I'm giving you whatever is the important thing. And there are a few things that I'll explain directly in the project. So don't worry. There are a few things that I will explain to you directly in the project. So don't worry. We are going to learn few more things as well. Don't worry. Okay, now. Let's work with few more things. Now, just for some time, let's give a height to the parent. Just for some time, let's also give height to the parent. Let's give a height of 500 pixel to the parent. Okay. And let's remove the padding top and padding bottom. Just for some time. It goes like this. I remove the padding and I give a height. So normal. Understandable enough, right? That means now the element is of 300 pixel. Now you guys tell me how much is left in the bottom. How much space is left here in the bottom? Anyone? Come on. I need only 5 answers. After 5, I'll start explaining. How much space is left in the bottom? Come on, guys. The parent's height is 500. The child's height is 300. How much space is left at the bottom? Come on, everyone. Guys, how much space is left at the bottom? Answers, come on. I remove the padding from the parent and I give it a height. Simple. Simple, right? Exactly, Swati. Exactly, you're correct. Exactly, 200. Now, if I want to arrange my elements in the center, I can simply use margin top and move the elements. But why to do it? We have flex boxes. And now, we're going to use the next property. Just like justify content, you also have something known as align items. And now, align items, just like justify content, but unlike justify content, works for the cross axis. Remember, justify content always works for the main axis and align items always works for the cross axis. So if the direction is row, justify content will work for X and align items will work for Y. If the direction is column, justify content will work for Y and align items will work for X. Remember, align for cross, justify for main. Now see, cross axis means Y axis. Now I want to arrange these elements in the center vertically. That means on the Y axis, I want to move them. So you can simply say align items center. And here we go. No calculation, no percentage, no counting, nothing. Doesn't care about the height. Simply align items center and done. You can also do this. Align items flex end. And here we go. You can also do this if you want. Simple. But I don't want it right now. So you can simply give align items center. And that's it. That's it. Simple. Okay. So remember, guys, justify content always for what? For main. And align items always for cross. Remember this and you will never get confused. How to change the main axis? By changing the direction. Flex direction column. So your elements will be arranged vertically. Then in that case, Y is your main and X is your what? Cross. Simple. But right now, by default, flex direction is row, and mostly you're going to need flex direction row only. Okay, so simple. That's it. Now we're going to need all of this that we learned today, tomorrow when we start the project. So I really want all of you guys to practice all the things that we did today. So I really want all of you guys to practice all that we learned today. Yes, I think, yep, almost in all the new browsers, Flex is supported. I think that, yeah. So right now we have updated browsers. So I think almost in all the new browsers, Flex is supported. Maybe if you open some old IE browsers or Chrome browsers, it will not work. But I think in Chrome, every Chrome Flexbox works. For some Mozilla browsers or old browser, maybe it will not work. But I think nowadays each and every browser is new. They have updated themselves. So I think Flex will work for everyone. Okay. So guys, are we cleared with all the things that we learned today? Assignment, yes, I'm giving. But first of all, tell me, are we cleared with all the things that we learned today? And I'm really happy, guys. I'm really happy. I feel like you guys are giving worth to the things that I'm teaching to you by doing the assignment. So please keep doing it. Is flex, is block, or inline block? I think it works like inline block. It works like inline block and block. Not inline block and block. Yes, I will upload today's code. Don't worry. First of all, I'll tell you the assignment now. Okay. So I'll write it down here and let me just adjust. Let me just edit my headphone. They are going down. Okay. Yes, I think it will work for Microsoft Edge as well. It is pretty much updated browser, so it will work. Okay. Now here is the assignment. So see, I want you to create two sections. Okay. Create two sections. Okay. Create two sections. One should be gray. One should be black. Okay. So guys, see, assignment, create two sections. Section when I mean like this, the parent. Okay. With 100%, with 100% width. Okay. So two sections. Okay. And give them padding, give them height. It's up to you. Now what I want in the first section, I want 5 elements with 15% width. Okay. In the first section, I want 5 elements with 15% width and red color. They should be red in color, the elements, and they should be arranged using flexbox. Okay. So this is the first one. And second, in the second section, I want 4 elements. Okay, I want 4 elements with 25% or not 25, 20% width and gray in color, but arranged using display and margin. That's it. That's what your question is, guys. So I want you guys to create two sections. One is gray and one is black. In the first section, I want you guys to have 5 elements. That means 5 divs with 15% width each and red color. Arrange using flexboxing. And the second section, I want 4 elements with 20% width each, and I want you to arrange them using display and margin. That means inline block and margin left. Simple. Okay, guys. So are we cleared, everyone? Guys, are we clear? This is your assignment. I am writing using 2 times. Using. Yes, guys, for the project certificate, the assignments are necessary. So I want you to do on the last day, I will ask to submit it. So I want every one of you to be ready with the assignments. Elements means this, the red one. See here, divs. I simply call them elements, but you can call them anything. So the divs, yep, elements. Yep, exactly. Like blocks. Yes, like blocks. Yes. And yes, for people having problems in tagging me in the community, see, you simply go on and I think, see how to tag. I'll tell you how to tag. Let's say if you're writing something. Okay, let's say if you're writing something. I hope you can see my screen now. Sir, div is not working. What should be height of the child? Anything, up to you. Height, width, up to you. Sorry, width, not height, up to you. Height is up to you. Elements can be anything, yeah. But mostly div. I prefer divs for that. Guys, if you want to what you call tag me, simply write @ and I think you'll get all the options of users. And then you can write sgupta8mz and you'll find me. And here we go. See, am I not coming? Oh, how is that? I think I have to write my name then. So simply write Saurabh. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Saurabh Gupta. See, as Gupta8mz. No, Rama Devi, I want you to use div. I think div will definitely work. I want you to use div. So see, guys, you can just simply search for Saurabh or just write. I think after space. No, it will not work after space. So simply write @Saurabh. I think the first one you'll get this, or try to see this name S Gupta 8MZ. See this. You can use section tags for sections because they are exactly same like divs. Okay. Painful heart. I think you're really in pain right now, buddy. Sorry for your all the pains that you're facing, buddy. I'm so sorry. Okay, but please don't use uh abusive words in the chat, buddy. That's not what we follow while learning, right, buddy? So please. Okay. Okay, yes, Soumya, you can do this. Soumya, you can do this. Simply write @Saurabh and you'll get this S Gupta 8MZ, and then you can simply tag it myself like that. Simply. So here we go. Select, and that's it, tagged. Okay, Soumya. Soumya, are we cleared with this? Soumya, please don't spam the chat. Soumya Ranjan Shetty, please don't spam the chat. I hope you understood this now. And guys, attendance link in the chat, please fill it. Don't go without filling. That's why how you get the attendance certificate. And please keep completing your assignments, because at the end I'll ask for it and you'll also get certificate based on that. But your aim should not be the certificates. Your aim should be learning everything perfectly. So that is what I want from you. That is what I expect from you. Learn everything, okay? Not for certificates, but for yourself. But yeah, having certificate is not bad, right? That's cool. So, and tomorrow I'll show you how to use background image and everything. Don't worry. Tomorrow in the first half an hour, I'm going to show you how to use background images, how to write on the image and everything, and then we'll start on the projects. So don't worry. So tomorrow we are starting with projects. So I am really excited. I really hope that you guys are excited too. So I really hope, guys, you liked the session. I really hope that you understood everything. Please let me in the chats that you enjoyed the session or not. Please let me know in the chats. And thank you so much for being here. And I want to see more numbers from you tomorrow so that we can learn everything together. Please tell your friends, your colleagues to join in to learn something, okay? Because we are starting with project tomorrow. So I want more numbers from you. So yes, guys, you can leave now. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone. I really hope you liked the session. Please write down the charts. And I'll see you tomorrow, everyone, at 7:30 p.m. sharp, okay? So bye-bye, everyone. Right now, don't upload the assignment. Just do it. At the end, I'll ask for you and I'll tell you how to upload it. Don't worry. Okay, at the end I'll ask for it. Maybe I will tell you to upload it to GitHub and share the link. That's how I'll ask for the assignment. Upload it to GitHub and share the link. Upload it to GitHub and share the link. That's how will I tell you to submit the assignments. Okay, so that is something in prepare right now. Create a repository on GitHub using the name LetsUpgrade assignments, HTML CSS assignments, and start uploading all the files of your assignments there. And at the end you can simply share the link with me. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for being such a great students. I'll see you tomorrow 7:30 p.m. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye, everyone. Aryan, I don't know that right now, buddy. I don't know if I'm in for JS Essentials because we have a lot of more sessions. So I don't know right now, but let's see. Let's see. Why not? Thank you so much, Vipin, buddy. Thank you so much, Vipin. Thank you so much. So that's great, guys. That's if you're uploading on GitHub, that's great. At the end, you can share me the link. Okay. Okay, guys. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye. Good night.